Hi friends, welcome back to another section of this video. In this demo I am going to cover these topics. There is no changes in the configurations. It was pretty same what we had earlier. In this demo I am going to take a full backup of the domain controller, and then I am going to log in onto a client machine with the user that I have created in the Active Directory before it is being deleted, and then I will delete the user that I have created in the Active Directory, and then I will restore the user from the backup, and then again I will log in on to the client machine after the restore has been performed. Now let's get started. It's the same pretty configuration. I have three virtual machines here. One is my domain controller with an IP of 10.10.0.1, and the other one is a backup server where we have installed the backup agent on our domain controller, and the third one is a Windows 7 virtual machine with an IP of 10.10.0.25. Now what I have done here is I have created a user called user1 in my Active Directory users and computers. I think most of you would be aware of this Windows concept. Just right click on the user, create a new user, give a username and password. Now I have created a user. Now what I am going to do is log in on to this client machine with this username and password. There you can see. Now I have logged in as user1 without any issues. Now what I'm going to is just log off. Now in my backup server I'm going to run a full backup as of now, just to make sure this steps are followed. Now right click, backup to disk. I'm going to run a backup to disk job. I'll just make sure there is no backup exists in my old storage. There nothing is there. So right click, backup to disk. I am going to create a new full backup job. I am going to backup my domain controller, delete this user, and then we will see what happens when I logged into this client using this username. Now it's a pretty same what we saw earlier. Just select the contents that you want to backup. There you can see users. I'm going to backup all the users that's created in the DC. Click on OK. Just select where you want to store the backups. For time being I'm going to run only the full backup job, so just cancel this incremental. I'm going to give a name as delete and restore user from Active Directory. I'm going to run this right now without any schedule. This is a full backup job. The rest of the configurations are pretty much same. I'm just going to select the storage that I have created. There you can see it's the 100 GB partition which we created earlier. I'm going to run a software compression, and nothing much change in these settings. The other settings are pretty much same without any much change. Click on OK. Now once I click OK, the backup job will start running. During that time I will just pause the video so that the backup job gets completed. It will take around 20 minutes. Once it is completed I will get back. I'll just click on OK now, and there you can see the backup job will be start running in a few moments. There you can see it's started running. I just want to mention the point here, it's a full backup. Now I'll pause the video and we'll get back to you once the backup job is completed. There, now our backup has been completed. It's a full backup which we did on our domain controller. Now what I am going to do is delete this user1 in my Active Directory, and then let's see what happens when we try to log in on our client machine. I'm just right clicking, click on delete, click on yes. Now my user 1 has been deleted. Now I'm just trying in my client machine to log in as user 1. I'm giving my password and tries to contact my domain controller, but since the user is not available, it just throws an error saying that the username or the password is incorrect. We'll just wait on that. Yeah, you can see because I don't have the user 1 in my active directory. Now what I'm going to do is just do a restore of my backup which we took. It's stored in our partition which we created. I'm just going to do a restore job so that I can get the user 1 back in my active directory. And again we will just try what happens when we try the same scenario. I'll just click on OK for time being. Now I'm going to do a restore job. Just right click on the DC, click on restore. Just make it a full screen. Yes, now you have to select whether you want to restore a file or folder or a volume or the state of the active directory or the system state. In this scenario I'm just going for the second option where I'll just restore the system state of the computer, which is nothing but my active directory. Click on next. There are other two options. You want to go for a full Microsoft computer or you want to go for a part of the active directory. I'm just clicking the second option because I just want to restore an individual item which is just only one user which we have deleted. Click on next. There you have to select your system state, the one which we did earlier. It just shows. Hope you remember we did a full backup a couple of videos back. Now 36 is today's date. We just have to click active directory, move to our domain controller and select which OU or user we want to restore. There you can see the DC my home lab. Just click on that, users, click on that. There you can see user 1. These are the users which we created in our active directory, or by default this will be our active directory structure. Now I have deleted only this user, particular user, and I want to restore only that user, so I have selected that user. Click on next. There you have to select the location. I am selecting here the original location, which is my domain controller. I don't want to go for a different location in this scenario. Click on next. There these three option is quite important. Here I am going for the second one, which says that restored files without their security information and file system permission, which means that the security or the permission for the object which we are going to restore will get the same permission that was there at the destination, which means that the user 1 which we created in active directory, the same security or permission what we created during our active directory process will remain during the restore also. This is what I am going to do here. If I want to go for an overwrite, I can go for the second option. The file is not already on the disk, so definitely this option will not be working. Now if I go for the first option, which means that you can restore the data but you cannot log in onto the client machine. So in that kind of scenario, you have to reset the password in your active directory, and again you have to come back to the client machine and try your login. So I don't want to do that at this scenario, so I am going for the second option, which says that keep the default permission that was created in the destination. The destination here is my domain controller. Click on next. I don't want to do any of these changes, so I'm not using any cluster or terminal services scenario. Click on next. Here you have to go whether you want to recreate the deleted object, yes or no. I am going for no here. Click on next. I don't want to run any additional task after the restore has been completed, so no selection in this scenario. Click on next. There you can give a name for your restore. Here I am giving restore the deleted AD user. I am not going to run it on a schedule. I am going to run it just now when I click on OK. So click on next. It gives a summary of your restore job. Once you click finish, you can able to see that the Active Directory does a restore process. I will just minimize the screen here. I'll just pause the video till this restore scenario completes. There my restore job has been completed. Now I am going to my domain controller. There is no user one here. What I have to do is just refresh. There you can see by default Windows, you know that it gives the user account as disabled. All I have to do is just enable the account. Now my user one has been restored and enabled. I just want to try the scenario in my client machine. Let's do that. I'm just giving my password for user one. Just refresh myself a few more times. I will pause the video for right now. There you can see my user one has now logged into the client machine. It has logged in as user one. So that's the scenario. I'll just go through. We have done a full backup of our domain controller, logged into the client machine before the deletion is made. We just deleted the user that we created in the Active Directory, restored the user from the backup, and then we again tried logging in after the user has been restored. Hope this video has cleared some ideas on you. There our user one has been restored. We have run a restored job on our domain controller, and the user could able to log into the client machine. Hope I have covered all these topics. Thank you for watching. Do share your feedback. Thank you.